All right, guys. Hopefully everything catches up and everything's working okay because I'm going to get into it. This is episode 82, and I'm going to go over the LS130. Okay, so we're good? Whew, good. Well, so if we had a hiccup, I was good about all the announcements and introduction because this is the part I'm stoked about. And I have learned so much over the years on this sander. This is one of those sanders that's been lost in our catalog, in our arsenal. It's a fantastic sander. It's the LS130. And even in the pre-show, someone asked, hey, it said you're going to cover this and this. And both times I went, okay. Because guess what? Those are the typical questions. So let me step behind here. And you're going to see I have a ton of stuff set up. And hopefully you guys can all understand as I go through this. Okay, so here's your LS130. Now, in a previous episode, I'll go back to it. I think it was either episode 1 or 2 or 3. We talked about sanders, how to choose the right sander. And we have different orbits. Well, the orbit to the LS130 is a linear stroke, okay? It comes with the sustainer, but it also comes with 2 pads. It comes with your right angle pad for getting into corners or close to corners. I actually use this sometimes to get into a profile like this. And what the LS130 does is it emulates hand sanding. Okay? Because you can't use a random orbit sander or a vibrating sander to do something like this. Okay, so what you go to is you get some hand sanding blocks or you get some paper that forms like granite soft roll that conforms to this. But man, over time, and say that's up on the wall and you're sanding, your hand's going to get wicked tired. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you hand sanding. Of course, you know that's hand sanding. Let me just clean that up. But what I want to show you is when you hand sand, you're left with this scratch pattern. See how it's linear? The LS130 is the same way. Okay, so I have the pad that comes with it. It's on there, but I got a really rough paper on there. I think I got 80 grit on there. And I'm just going to take it. Remember, a plug-it cord. It's a full quarter turn. Okay, but here, and here's your variable speed. I'll turn it on. I'll lock it on, and you can hear it. You can go all the way down to 1 and all the way up. But I'm going to set it on 4 just so you can see the scratch pattern. And as you see, it's the same. So someone's going to say, how do you eliminate scratch pattern? Well, guess what? That's why you go up in grit. Okay, so that's how you eliminate it. So to get the 80 grit out, I'd go to 100, then I'd go to 120, then I'd go to 150. Depending on what you're going to coat it with, I'd probably stop there or 180. So that is the orbit of an LS130. Okay, so... And one of the questions somebody got, and I knew I was going to cover this, or someone asked, is how do you change the pads? Oh my goodness. Before I came to Festool, I used to struggle with this. There's a little icon right here. See it? A little picture, as I call it. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, and I used to see people do this to take the pad off. Not for me. I usually just take the hose and the cord off. You see 2 tabs here, and Chris, hopefully you're getting that. And 2 tabs here. Okay, how we doing? We're good? Okay, Big D, are you zoomed in on this? Okay, right here, because I'm going to bring it up. Because I really want you to see this. Now, if you read this icon, it says to push and lift. Okay, the way I do it is I take 2 of those thumbs of mine, I put it right here, and I push it forward. And I take one of my fingers and lift it off. I will tell you, it is that easy. You just have to understand the locking mechanism for the pad. And it's right here. It's 2 springs. You see, are we getting that? Okay. And you're going to see that tab and that tab, that tab and that tab. So let's look at the pad. You see these little pieces here? So when you put it back on, put it with the springs and just push it with your thumbs. It'll automatically fall down and lock in. So if I'm going to like the right angle pad, I just go like this, and it's effortless. That's how it goes on. And to take it off, I push with those beautiful thumbs we're blessed with, like that, and lift it up. That's how easy it is. So I'm going to leave it at that. And let's go over here. Huh? Isn't that cool? Isn't that a great camera? And you know how we put that camera in? Because we were listening to you. You couldn't see it. So we made sure you guys could see it. Okay, so let's look over here. See this over here? These are the pads. These are the different pads for sanding moldings or whatever. Okay, you're going to see we have, I always mess this up, concave, we have convex, we have the long pad, the scraper, and we have the DIY pad. Okay, so somebody asked, and another question somebody asked is, well, hang on before I get there. I'm going to show you the different contour pads, and I'll answer the question about the interface pad. So I'm going to take my sander over here. Big D, we got this over here too. I'm going to take the pad off. Remember, facing you. I'm going to lift it off. And let's put this pad on. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to grab a piece of paper. Oh, no, I got a piece of paper right here. I'm going to grab a piece of paper, and I'm going to put it on this. And if we can get this has a very slight radius. All of this is listed in the catalog. I can never remember what this one is, but it's listed in the catalog. And I'm going to put it on here like this, where I got it. And say I'm sanding this part of some crown, the scotia right here. See that? Okay. And if I look in here, look at that. See that point? Do we get this, guys? Okay, you see that? And it's not really matching that. Okay? Someone may go, oh, I'm going to go make a DIY pad for that. There's no need at this point because you can buy these. They come in a 2-pack. They come in a 2-pack. These are called interface pads. So what I will suggest, now you could go out and get this one. This is another pad to match it. Okay, and that'll work perfectly on the sander. Remember, it's linear. Okay, but what if you have these interface pads in your arsenal? Where's that one I have? It's on the sander. I'll take the interface pad. I'll line up the holes. I'll put that on. And then I'll take that piece of paper. Just like this. So what it does is it builds up to a bigger radius. And check this out. Now you got a nice fit in there. See that? Big D, you got that? Okay, you got a nice fit. So you can utilize those interface pads. Now, another way to do it is right here. See this piece right here? Okay, now this one is pretty much a perfect fit, isn't it? See that? Okay, for this handrail. But what if I have this pad? Once again, get that interface pad in there, and guess what it does? It knocks it down to a tighter radius for this application. I'm just going to take that off. Let's slip this in, and you'll see. I'll tell you what, that was a big epiphanal moment for me when I was working with people on a job site, and we were using interface pads, and I went, duh. So that was the other question somebody asked, was I going over the interface pads? And I made sure. Because think about it, I've already got it set up. Those are the top questions, right? Okay, so I'm going to take this off once again, push it forward, and you can see all the different applications, different radiuses. They're all in the catalog. But what I want to talk about next is this pad. Okay, it's called out, I think it's called the long pad. But what people don't know about, they go, oh, I need special paper. And the other thing they don't know about it is, let's flip it over. Look at that right there. This pad is fantastic. It takes 2 pieces of paper. There's not special paper for it. You put it on there, you fold it over. Okay, you take another piece of paper, you match it up like this, and guess where this gets you? Absolutely. You put that right on your LS130, and you get one of the best sanders for sanding louvered doors, because that gets you right in between the louvers. Or I know somebody who had to sand and get that extra reach under a toe kick with flooring. So this long pad gives you the extra reach. A lot of people don't understand that. Now the other piece that's in the catalog is this. This is called the scraper. Okay, and this is fantastic because it uses this motion. This is absolutely phenomenal for cleaning up dried glue, cleaning up a workbench where you have a lot of spatters of paint. Okay, it's designed for scraping siding, scraping any kind of paint. Okay, so there you go. I know somebody who asked me one time, hey, can I get that sharpened? Yeah, you can sharpen it. I don't know what you use it for. I'm not going to do ice sculptures with it, but you know. Okay, so I get that covered. That is the basic overview, and that is the basic of pre-designed pads for the LS130. Okay, so I just want to check this. Okay, I checked the time. With the hiccup, I'm right on time because I was going to say, okay, and that's it. But no, this is the reason we did this LS130. See this pad? This is called a DIY pad. And this is, when I said at the beginning of the episode, I said, this is what I've learned the most over the years. I learned one way on how to make the pad, and then I had a colleague here at Festool. His name is, many of you are going to love this, Johannes Frick. And Johannes and I made a bunch of DIY pads and went through it to get the right process. And he was out on job sites. He'd come back and he'd talk to me and go, Sedge, try this. And I went, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So hopefully you're going to follow me along with this because this is a lot of fun. And it kind of reminds me of that journey I took learning how to make DIY pads really well. Okay, so what comes in this package is you're going to get a block that you can make the form. Okay, it's going to come with some contact cement. This stuff's good. Okay, it comes with a couple of pieces of paper. Now, Big D, are you in on me on this one too? Okay, this is our stick fix hook and loop. All right, one side has the hooks and the other side is plain. Okay, this is what comes on your sanding pads, but we're going to adhere this to a sanding pad or a form that we make. Okay, so that's later. This, the red one, same thing as stick fix, but it's got an adhesive back. This is what we're going to use to form with the sandpaper to form the block. Okay, now over the years I've learned you can make a profile, cut this on your bandsaw, and you can make another one. That's why we've included extra pieces. Good. Hopefully everybody's following now. I've made this is one I've had for a long time. I use this for a handrail. And when I say this to people, you're not gonna make one pad to do this whole profile. It's gonna be a series of pads. You may use some of the preformed or the ones we make, okay? And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make this form, this little, I forget it, cementia, this little area here, this OG pattern, but it's a fancy German, fancy Latin name right here. Okay, see that? We're going to make that today. Okay, but it's a series of pads. I can make one for that. I can make one for that. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to make any or utilize the pad to touch this part or this part. Do you know why? I'm going to round that over. I don't want that. I want to keep the integrity of this molding. Okay? Somebody may ask, you're probably asking now, what about getting, say I have a lot of paint on here. This is up on the wall, whatever, and I got to get in that V right there. That's why you have a scraper. Okay? And you can scrape that out and get those points out. But boy, sanding this by hand, and you have a lot of it, is really, really time consuming. The LS130 speeds it up. And the reason I'm telling you that is this here with this handrail, this is a perfect fit. You come from this side, but what about the top? Okay, I wouldn't make a pad for the top. I would utilize what? An ETS 125. And guess what? Look at that. A contour pad, an interface pad for that. So sometimes it's a series of sanders and a series of pads. You're not going to make one pad for everything and do this whole piece of molding. Okay, so this is, by the way, this is molding in my basement, and why do we sand moldings? I was talking to Big D about this earlier. A lot of people think it's just for paint stripping or removal. Did anybody did Minnie does Minnie come through when she says Minnie says for dusting? That was really good. Minnie, we got to get you back on mic. Okay, you made my day, by the way. So it's for also in this cherry molding I did in my basement. It was when I got it, it had a lot of planing chatter marks from the planer from the molder, and I said, okay, that's not good. So I started sanding it, and all of a sudden I went, wait a minute, and I came up to work. I borrowed the LS130, and I bought a pad, and I made it for this part right here, and I used the pad for this. And I said, someday I'm going to teach this to folks, and I did on Instagram, and I made a series. So as I step over here, I'm going to make a pad in a series, but I'm not going to start from beginning and do the whole thing because it is a little time consuming. Not much, but it is a little time consuming. So bear with me. I have a lot of stuff set up. So the first thing you're going to do, and I want to show you some tips. That's my setup here, but I want to show you how I went about getting my setup. I'm going to do this profile here. I will not get this, that I will hand scrape, but I want to get this profile. So the first thing I'm going to do, it's pretty simple. I'm going to peel this, and I want to show you some of the tips I've learned. It's always that way when you go to peel something and you have people watching. It takes forever. You know the skinny, everybody. Now I'm going to use pretty much this whole piece here, but you can cut it. You're going to see offcuts I have over there. But what I want to make sure you get is I'm going to start here. I am not even going to sand that. But this is what you got to make super certain of. You get this to follow, and you take your time to follow as best you can without a lot of hiccups. Okay, and now I'm going over the top of that. But now I want to get deep in there. So what I do is I take pretty much a blunt instrument, and I will force it. Hopefully you guys are getting this. I will force it down in there to that point. Okay, and then I'll bring it up here. See that? So that's a perfect replication of what I want. Good? So when I put the paper on, okay, and it comes with two pieces of paper, I usually use the 60. I do the same thing. I just take my time to make sure it's on there, okay, and I'll start here on the edge where I really don't need it because I'm not going to grab that edge, but I'll slowly form it in there. So the time you take to do this, to get it right into that profile, the better. Now this one's a little tricky. I don't want to take this and go like this. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually take a blunt piece of wood that I've knocked down at 45, but I'm going to take that. Now remember, I'm not going to get down in that complete V groove, but I want to get it down as much as possible. So I think you get the gist of this, okay? And then it's a back and forth. I'll actually push it in and try to get it as best possible. So I'm going to take that off to the side. I've done a few pieces on this already. This is when I had some older pads that had the Brilliant in there. Okay, Brilliant paper. So here's the other thing. And you know what? I'm going to get sanding with this pretty quick. Guys, you remember when I was setting up, I go, make sure you have extras to show people. Here's the mistake I made early on. I'm going to grab my LS130. I was told, okay, shown, that you put the block on here, just like this, okay? You turn it on and you put it on here. Okay, what I have learned over the years is that is, for me, is a little hard to control. So what I did is I always take the molding, a piece of the molding, doesn't have to be a long piece, and I get it locked in. What I definitely want is to start the pad, look, up against the fence. That way there, I have really good control this way, so I don't end up with a skewed profile on here. Okay, I lock it in, and because of the molding, I make sure I have it locked in. I get it locked here and here. So I've created a really good channel. Now I want to show you how I used to explain it to people until Johannes and I started making a lot of these. And he was out on a job site in San Francisco. And I'll never forget when he came back. He goes, Sedge, try this. And I did, because I used to tell him, this is how you show the contractor how to do this. Okay? You put it up on that molding, and you start it up like this. Okay? And you go back and forth. Okay? Okay. So you're going to see how it starts to wear in there. Okay? I'm going to take that off. Give me a second. There we go. Okay? And we were here. I'll never forget it. And he started going like this as we were talking. And I went, wow, that's a little bit faster. So what I like to coach people on is do it by hand. And he was up on a scaffold, and he showed the contractor, the paint contractor. They love the LS130 because he showed them, you can't take that crown down. And they were up on the scaffold, and they rubbed it back and forth and made an absolutely perfect molding in about 5 minutes. Okay, with that 60 grit. So I want to point that out. I am very effective now. Every time I make one, I just do it by hand. I think I have better control. You just got to make sure you have a dust extractor handy, which I always do, because you want to just make sure that's completely cleaned up. That dust extractor should have Bluetooth. It makes it really easy. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so here's another thing I learned over the years. See this profile I made? Okay. Remember I said I don't want to hit this or round it over and this and round it over. Okay. So if I put that and I go through the motions, I'm going to round those two pieces over. If I utilize the full block. What I like to do is knock it off, whether you use this with a rabbiting bit on your router table or a table saw just to clean that up, because I'm only going to be using that right there. So once again, I'm up against a high enough fence, and I just start to take it like this. Okay? And it's just a back and forth. I'll do it a little bit because I want to show you a couple things I've learned over the years. Your hand can actually feel this. I'm on this fence, and see how that's even? There'll be a point where I'll get fairly close with this. Oh, we're looking good on time. It's exactly where I wanted to be. So I'll look at this, and I'll come in here, and I'll look at my edge. See how I'm a little thicker there, and I'm thinner there. But see how quick that is starting to form, right? Okay, and that was about half a minute? Okay, just back and forth. But I'm always looking at this because, and I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do it incorrectly. I'm going to put too much weight in the back. Okay? And if I look at it now, this is starting to wear quicker than there. So when I used to do it on the sander, remember I showed you that a little while ago? I used to get what I called a belly in there. It was thinner here, and there was a slight bulge here. That wasn't good, okay? And I would wear these pads down consistently. So what I did is I learned, okay, more weight out front now, like this. And you can actually see it as I'm wearing down. I'm getting close. So and the next thing you know, you can get really consistent with this, and you'll start to see how this is the same width as that. So I'm going to leave that at that. I'm going to do a quick cleanup. Okay? And hopefully you all understand how easy that is and how quick it is. Remember, get something with a fence that you could put that pad up so you can get a consistent rub through there or sand through there. On something like this, I had that as I could do it just like that with the pad as I wore it down. Okay, so you gotta make sure, you gotta just analyze what you're trying to do. Let's see if I've covered everything right there. I think I have. Okay, so once you get your form, okay, how many people out there have used contact cement? Raise your hand. Derek's raising his hand. Okay, good. I know you're raising your hand. Okay. With contact cement, everybody thinks you just put it on and put it together. No, you have to let it dry to tack. So right before we started, and I'm a half hour in, I don't know if it's tacked up too long. We'll see. But I usually wait 5-10 minutes and I check my tack of my contact cement and then I put it together. And I'm going to give you some tips on that because I promised Minnie yesterday when I borrowed her coffee stirrers, I would show her what they're for. Okay, so the contact cement that comes with it. Oh, look, Minnie's going to start paying attention now. Okay, so this contact cement, it's good to use a respirator because, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, no, never mind. Okay. Okay, boy, those are better than Sharpies. Okay, I'm just going to pour a little out here. Okay. Now you can use a spatula or whatever. I'm just going to take this. I'm going to coat the whole surface, making sure it's really consistent. Okay. Minnie, you're going to love this. Minnie, you got as many on the back side of that board as you have on the front side? No. Okay, so I want consistent. I don't want a lot of. And if you've ever done mica tops, I used to do a ton of mica tops. Your consistency is so important. You know how quick. You know you only have one chance with this stuff. And I'm going to put some on here. Pretty liberal. And I'm going to make sure I get all surfaces. So, number one, you put it on both surfaces. Okay? That's huge. I know people who put it just on one surface. Okay, just like this. There you go. And make sure the surface is completely coated and let it dry. You know what? If the other one doesn't tack up, so there, see when I hit it? It's a little tacky. So this one's ready, and I know this one's ready. Now, hopefully I didn't let it sit too long. I'm going to check really quick. Nope, I think I'm pretty good. Okay. You only have one chance with, say you're doing a Formica countertop, and it's a long rollout, okay, or what we used to call a long stick. You can't do that. So what we used to do is take broomsticks and put them in between, okay, because you have to follow this contour precisely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my sticks here. Minnie, you checking this out? Okay, because if I put it here and it hits here, it's already tacked. So I'm going to take it like this, and I'll take the sticks out as I do it. So let's try this. I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to put it even, like this. You see how it's sticking already? And then as I come down, I remove the sticks, like this. See? Okay, and it's starting to tack up. Okay, I would not let it go a half hour like I did. Okay, but I'm still getting some decent tack. I would wait maybe 10 minutes, okay, because it'll be really tacky. See, this one's almost ready. And I'll take it like this, and I'll roll it over, okay? And you're going to see how that adheres right to that. Follow me? Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. Another trick I have is I take the pad that I have tacked up, I put it like I just did with this one. Okay, I waited, I think, 10 minutes on this. I did that, and I said, you know what? For reassurance, I'm going to, and not hard, because I don't want to damage these, but you see how that fits in that form and tacks. Okay, do you have to wait hours and hours? No. I usually wait maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I'll take it out, but this piece of molding is really important now in this step. Always have a wicked sharp razor knife, and if I started cutting this, it wouldn't cut properly, so I'll cut it so I have a hard surface bearing on there like this. Okay, just like that, and I'll trim it. And let's see if we can. That's almost ready, by the way. Maybe we can do another one so you guys can see it. And see how quick it is. See how I have it like this? Then I'll take it off like this, and then I'll come back in here if I have a sharp enough one, and I'll just trim it back like this. I'm going to tell you, this is a pad that you're ready to go. Now, once again, I have that piece right here, right? So if you want dust extraction with this, which is really nice, I would take it like this, put it in that molding like this, and now I have a backing board. You take and let's check it. I believe it is 6 millimeter. And now I can drill out, put it in the hole first, and now I can drill out the pad just like this for dust extraction. Okay? So you'll see, you'll get dust extraction. Just get it through there. Okay? And that's how you make a DIY pad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of paper. Let me reach in here to the sustainer, and I'm just going to grab a 150 grit. Put it right on there. And there's your DIY pad. Make it short. Always remember this. When you put it on that profile, take your time. Start from one side, okay, and go to the other. And you'll see how that'll just sand right in that profile. And I'm basically ready to go. And that will grab up. That paper will grab up. There you go. And you will keep, and that will keep that point pristine right there and right there. And you can sand that. And then once again, get that with that. So I'm going to, let's see if I can hook her up. Woo! Yes, I knew that would be this long a show. Okay, so this is where orientation is everything. So I'm going to take that and make sure I have it just like this. I'm going to snap it on. Woo! And look at that. And there, my friends, is your DIY pad. So I want to point out one more thing, because I saw this. I made one of these in Germany years ago, and this is where I learned about the how to make a DIY pad, and then Johannes and I tweaked it. But what was really neat is I want to grab this pad, okay? And you can see, let me get a piece of paper and put it on there, because this is a tip I've always taught. And I think either this one or this one would probably be good. I'll try this one, okay? And say you got to sand this right here, okay? Hey, this is pretty good, right? You see, I got a bunch of these, and it's on a railing, okay? But I saw a radiator, and we were working on a radiator over in, I think it was Stuttgart. And as we were sanding it, this pad was getting in the way, okay? Because these rungs were too close together, these dowels, okay? And then the trainer over there whipped this out, and I went, now that's cool. He made this for that specific purpose, because this pad would get there and not interfere with the other round pieces he was sanding. So he could go right to the radiator and get all of this. And the only thing he did is he cut this back at 45 and made his own DIY pad. And that, you could tell I've had this pad for a while, because I came back here and I made one. So there you go. Boy, was I concentrated on this one, because I didn't want to forget anything. I had a heck of a lot of stuff. I hope that was informative for everybody. I think I covered everything Big D I wanted to. Okay? Men, was that okay? Woo! And this is what I always look at, and I go, oh my goodness gracious. So I was in here the other day practicing pronunciations, and I hope I got this right. Okay. So I want to call out all these wonderful folks, you who have been tuning in. We love you. I never want to not say that, because we do. Let's go for it. Let's see if I get everybody this week. Okay, first, we have Tom and Kelly from Georgia. You're always there. We have Rob. We have Mark S. from Springfield, West something? Springfield. Woodcraft. Woo! We have this guy from Malta. What's his name? Hey, Christopher, how are you? Andre G. from Enfield, Connecticut. Michael from Edmonton, AB, which is Alberta. Lausanne, Switzerland. You're always there, Lausanne. Thank you very much. Jason from Fenton, Michigan. Soren, Denmark. Dominic from Reedville, Massachusetts. Mike M. from Austin, Texas. Hello, Austin. Russ from Chichester, UK. Russ, I talk to you all the time on messaging. It is really good to have you here, my friend. Jolarvi, Finland. Des Diehard from Harrogate, England. Don from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dale from Swadlincote, England. Ian, I knew you'd be there, from East Yorkshire. Kurt from Surrey, Wisconsin. Tulalip, Washington. Dana from Yoko, Washington. Brian from Gainesville, Florida. Rockport, Mass / Rockport, Mass. Johannesburg, South Africa. Brian from the Bahamas. Hey, Mr. St. John Moss, how are you? Good. How's that bandsaw? Inside joke, everybody. Okay. Banjo Island, Bristol, England. Bozeman, Montana. Southern California. Island of Bermuda. Pararimbo, Suriname. Warren from Batavia, Ohio. Toulouse, Denmark. Boston, Mass. Yeah, baby, we're coming to see you. Geismar, LA. Springfield, Oregon. George from Naples, Florida. The Netherlands. Paul from Berkshire, UK. Springfield, Oregon. Dave from Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Southern Indiana. Quartz Hill, California. Randy from Fayetteville, Georgia. Jed from New Orleans. Tingsboro, Mass. Wolfgang from Vienna, Austria. Randy from Toronto, Canada. Westmead, Ireland. I'm coming to see you. Harrisburg, PA. Monty from Canton, Connecticut. Columbus, Ohio. I love it. West Yorkshire, England. Ooh, Etobicoke, Ontario, Canada. Hopefully I pronounced that right. VJ from Sunnyvale, California. Toledo, Ohio. Greg B from KC. Newark, Ohio. Kyalami, South Africa. Richmond, Virginia. There you go. Cypress, Texas. Santa Cruz, California. Delft, Netherlands. That means we already have a 2-pack from the Netherlands. What's this one, man? Is that AAA or Alleborg, Denmark?
Good job.
Wakefield, England. Central Florida. Cardiff, Wales. Puyallup, Washington. Tom from Zanesville, Ohio. Medina, Washington. Vassalboro, Maine. Now that's a cool place. Houston. Roll from Wolvega, Netherlands. How you doing, Roll? Weatherford, Texas. Stephen from Las Vegas. Adam from St. Louis. Turn that around, Min. Because we have some special people here. Yes, there you are. Selah and Judah. How have you been from Plainfield? Hey, Rich Roby from Lufkin, Texas. How you doing? Nicole from Italy. Minnie says hi. Al from Dorea, PA. Michael from Germany. Luis from Lisbon, Portugal. Blake from Novato, California. How you doing, Blake? All right. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Poland. Perrysburg, Ohio. Tallinn, Estonia. Aka, Finland. Sylvester from Durham, North Carolina. Paris, France. Wow. Marty. Hey, Marty from Cincinnati. How are you? I love you, Marty. Miss you, buddy. North Carolina, Iowa, Caldwell, Idaho, Serbia. Is that the first time Serbia? No.
He returns from
North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Paris, Montreal, Canada. Culligan. No. Culligan, Mexico. Gary from the UK. We have somebody from Zolo from Zolo the shop dog from Sweden. And he hangs out with Henrik Peterson.
Yes.
Is that it, man?
Falkland Islands.
Oh, that's a first.
Yes.
Falkland Islands. How are you?
Johnny from Memphis, Tennessee.
Johnny from Memphis. Who else, man?
I'm good right now.
Okay, well, good. So that is the end of episode 82, 45 minutes in. We had a great day. Hopefully, I got a lot of info in there. Don't forget to go sign up if you want that one-on-one training with us. We're really looking forward to it. You have now until Sunday night at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, everybody. We love you. We're signing out. Thanks, everybody who's part of this with us. You should see what we got planned for the rest of the year on the road, but also here. We got so much cool stuff. We're looking forward to it. It's always Festool Friday. This is the best hour of the week for us. We love you. I can't say that enough. That's a wrap. Happy Fest.